it's fucking the game they play, man.
Yep.
You know, I mean, Izzy knocked a lot of fucking people unconscious.
Yep.
Izzy, put it on everybody in the division. And the thing is, like, when you are a specialist, like if your specialty is wrestling and then all of a sudden you're facing an Olympic gold medalist, you're like, fuck. Because, like, there's people that are better than you at your specialty.
Right.
And at least on paper, Alex Pereira is one of the best kickboxers of all time. I still think Izzy is technically a better striker because Izzy is just he's so clever and sophisticated, and he doesn't have the kind of power that Pereira has. But Pereira is very technically good too. He just has a different thing that he relies on. He just has that nuclear option, and he relies on that a lot, and it paid off. And it paid off with him against Izzy twice. And one time he won by a decision, which if I go back and watch that kickboxing fight, I do not agree with that decision. And the second fight with kickboxing, it was a kind of shady situation because Izzy was winning and Izzy had him fucked up, and they gave him a standing 8 count, which they can do in kickboxing. And they allowed him to recover, and then he went back and he knocked out Izzy. And then this one, down 3-1, going into the 5th, and he puts it on him.
Yeah, that was some Usman shit.
Listen, man, it was more dramatic, honestly. Now I shouldn't say that because the Usman thing was last minute. Leon lands that perfect head kick. It was one shot. This was, like, is he gonna get him? Is he gonna? Oh my God, Izzy's hurt. He's hurt. He's hurt. And for Pereira, I mean, that was what a Cinderella story. I mean, that guy came from kickboxing. Was the only two-division he was holding 2 division champion simultaneously. So he was the 185-pound champion and the 205-pound champion simultaneously, and was knocking people into another dimension in kickboxing. You watch his highlight reel, it's fucking sensational.
He's putting together a pretty sweet highlight reel in the UFC.
Oh my God, he's a monster. He really is a monster. He's so big for the weight class, which really wears you out, that weight cut. That's a big weight cut. And with wrestling, he's going to have issues because he's not a grappler. That's not his forte. And he's getting better at grappling, but that was when Izzy takes you down and Izzy controls you on the ground, and Izzy's that's not his forte either. I wondered, like, is someone going to shoot? Someone going to try to take it to the ground? But to see Izzy do it, to see Pereira do it first, he did it at the end of the second, and then to see Izzy do it to him and control him and beat him up, I was like, wow. I mean, he had his back. He was pummeling him.
Yep, the hooks.
Yeah, man. It was a wild fight. And for sure they're going to fight again. I mean, I hope so.
Right.
I don't know if they go straight to it, but the thing is, like, Pereira, like, his wrestling is going to be an issue. Like, he's got to really figure out a way to but that was an issue with Izzy, too, early in Izzy's career. And he had to figure out how to tighten that up, and he did. I
mean, Pereira came in, like, what? Like, they were saying he was, like, 220 pounds.
He could have been. Yeah, he could have been. I mean, he certainly gets above that in between fights, and he has a hard time making 185.
Ah, man, I wonder, like, this is a question I've been dying to ask. What do you think about if, like, when the fighters, they're putting on the Vaseline, they're getting checked out by the ref, right? What if they were standing on a scale at that point so that it was transparent? You could actually know compared to what they weighed in at, and then when they actually step into the octagon for the fight.
They do that for some boxing matches. They'll let you know, like, what the guy's weighing when he steps into the ring. Yeah, I mean, it's a bullshit thing. It's basically sanctioned cheating. It really is, but everybody does it. But Izzy barely does it.
Well,
when Izzy went up to fight Jan Blachowicz at light heavyweight, he weighed 194.
Right.
Which is crazy. Because Blachowicz is a giant light heavyweight. I mean, Blachowicz is a big, powerful guy at light heavyweight, and Izzy didn't gain any weight.
Right, because Izzy figured that if he put on a bunch of weight to go up a weight class, that he might lose his speed.
Well, you also have muscles that need oxygen, and you might lose some of your endurance. And a big part of his game is not just speed; it's movement.
Right.
And you don't want to have a smaller gas tank.
Right.
When you're fighting a guy who's just a murderous power striker like Blachowicz is.
Right.
But because Blachowicz puts people in another dimension, man. That motherfucker hits so hard. The last thing you want to do is like be standing in front of that guy.